Couple of minutes, wait for everybody to arrive. And for the sake of Instagram, hi, we're going live in a couple of minutes. Just waiting for a few people to arrive. Tanda, hi. Well, how are we all? You can give me a thumbs up. Oh, I don't know how this works. Go live with Tanda. Something new. I've clicked yes. And I can see I've got 1+ person up there. Viewers you. Go live with Tanda, yeah. Go live with Tanda. People who can see Tanda's live videos. Oh, do you know that other people will be able to see you, Tanda? It says people who can see Tanda's live videos will be able to watch. So if you don't mind, I don't mind. Hi, GC. Hi. Hi, everybody. Bit miserable, isn't it? What about the snow? Crikey. It's a bit, it's all a bit much. Using the balls tonight. So, here you go. Anytime you're hanging around, instead of just being lazy, practice on your ball. This is a real hard workout in itself. It kills your thighs, hips, core, everything. It's working everything. So, use this as much as you want, and practice makes perfect. We are doing it actually properly in the class, but anyway, just say if you're just hanging around, and I'd love to see pictures of you on your ball. Look, rocking to the side. Look, if you fall off, it's not very far, is it? Let's be honest. Somebody else just joined. Hi. At least it was light tonight at 5:30. Simon's just taken our dog for a walk at 5:30, and it's not daylight, properly daylight, but at least, you know, you can see where you're going. Right, 6 o'clock, we're going to start. So, grab your ball. And as everything can be done on the ball, so we're going to set up on the ball, then we mobilise on the ball, and then we're doing all the exercises on the ball. If you have friends who aren't on Facebook or Instagram, then I can send them the link. I'm not charging, it's free, but anybody please who gets something out of it and wants to pay, please bung me a $5 over. I'll send you my details. Thank you very much, and lots of you have, and I'm so grateful. Thank you. I have to have a disclaimer. Remember, this is your body. I can't see you, so it's up to you to look after yourself. I can't look after you from here, remotely, not even able to see what you're doing. Normally, I'm in a class with you, and if I see you doing something wrong, I can correct you or stop you. But I can't do that from here. So you have to look after your own body. Pilates should never hurt. Yes, you're going to get a workout, and tomorrow you might get the DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. But while you're actually doing it, you might get a bit out of breath. You might get like now my thighs are killing me a bit, but that's not hurting. That's me using them, and I know I'm using them. Set your watch so you know you're here. And so there you go. You can't blame me if you overdo it. The ball isn't very high. You might fall off it. I've fallen off my ball so many times, and I've never ever yet hurt myself. Okay, let's go then. Now I've killed myself. Right, set up. We're going to go through it quite quickly because this is really aimed at my regulars who know me very well. Feet together. Turn your toes out at 10 to 2. Lift your heels behind. Now you can see that your hips, feet and knees are all in alignment, which is just where Mother Nature wanted them. Now grab from here and lengthen the neck. Now this neck thing, I'm just going to come a little bit closer. This neck thing we talk about, what you need to do with your neck is you need to lengthen it. And then imagine you have a car headrest behind you and just press slightly back. So when you watch me, watch my chin, just slightly retract. So I'm not looking up, I'm not sticking my chin out, I'm definitely not knocking my chin down, get too many wrinkles. So you just take the head slightly back. And what that's doing, if you look, it's lining up your vertebrae in your neck. So from here to here. Now we all spend a lot of time like this, don't we, at the moment, on our phones and our laptops, and that's what we have to counteract. We have to strengthen all these muscles here so that we can hold our neck in the correct position. Shoulders should be down and back. So again, we spend a lot of time like this. We need to strengthen these muscles at the back, lengthen these muscles at the front. And obviously this is uncomfortable, you couldn't stand like this, but all you do is you kind of knock it off, and I just realised I'm way too close. Okay, so my shoulders from the back, they're high, back and down. Your shoulder blades, you're trying to get them into your back pockets of your jeans. Now we want to get a neutral spine. So a lot of people stand with their back slightly arched. Can you see that arch there? We need to straighten it out. To do that, rock your pelvis as much as you can. Rock, 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 rock. See that movement I've got? I have quite a mobile spine. Now I'm going to make that movement smaller, 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 until you stop in the middle. And that's your neutral spine. And you have a slight curve here, slight lump here, that slight curve here. And that is your neutral spine as Mother Nature intended. Okay, now we've got that, we need to engage our core. Best way, put your hands on your belly and cough. And what happens to your hands? Do they go out or do they come in? What you need to learn to do is pull them in. Okay, have a practice. So it's cough, in. And the next thing, which is fantastic on the ball, is lifting your pelvic floor. Right, your pelvic floor is inside. It goes from here to here, underneath, like a sling or a hammock. And it holds all your insides up. Now, girlies, we've got more insides than the blokes. And it holds it all up. Now, if you're accidentally coughing, having a wee when you cough or sneeze or run or jump, that's your weak pelvic floor. And it works like a muscle like this, like the eye, where it contracts in a circle. So in other words, it doesn't come forward and backwards. It contracts like this. And you can improve it massively by doing your pelvic floor exercises. That's a whole other lesson. But for now, I want you to feel your pelvic floor. It's fantastic on the ball because it's almost in contact with the ball. So put your hands on your thighs and lift your pelvic floor. Imagine it's a lift. Think about closing the door and lifting that pelvic floor all the way to the top floor inside you. And then lower it all the way down. You may already realise if you have a problem. And lift it all the way up again. Now, did you feel your thigh muscles working? If your thigh muscles started working, it's because you're using your thigh muscles when you're squeezing, not your pelvic floor. Try again. Now put your hands on your belly and lift your pelvic floor. And if your belly's moving in and out, again, you've not quite got the right muscle. You've got the muscle that's moving your belly in and out, not the one that's moving your pelvic floor up and down. And then the last one is if you see yourself raising or lowering, it's only a small amount, but can you see me raising and lowering? That's because I'm actually squeezing my glutes, my bum muscles, which are quite large, and that is what's lifting you up. So you're using your bum muscles, the cheeks of your bum, instead of what's inside. So if you can crack all that, well done. And if you need any help with that, please get in touch and we can sort through that. So now the only other thing about Pilates, the breathing is different to yoga or anything else, but it's very, very relaxing breathing. Basically, try putting your hands on your ribs, fingertips are just together. As you inhale, imagine you have a balloon under each hand and you want to inflate the balloon. So you inhale for 4 beats through the nose and exhale through the mouth as the ribs deflate and your fingertips come back together. this breathing, keep it going, this breathing is very good for calming your central nervous system down. So if you're a bit frightened, you know, a bit frightened, flight or fight, or you're a bit stressed and you can feel your heart rate going, this is the breathing you need to practice. What's flashing there? New tip. Interesting. Thank you for your new tip. So if you feel like your heart's racing and you want to calm yourself down, inhale for 4, exhale for 4. And if you can make that even longer, so inhale for 5, exhale for 5, inhale for 6, exhale for 6, you're really calming everything down, and your pulse will slow and your central nervous system will slow down, and you'll be in a much better state quite quickly. So remember that one. So we've got all this talk. Right, now we're going to mobilise everywhere. I'm just going to go back a little bit now. I'm a bit too close to you. Mobilise everywhere. We start with the head because I like to work from the head all the way down, and then when you're on your own without me, it's easier for you to remember the routine. So we do an inhale move and an exhale move. So I want you to inhale. As you exhale, turn your face as far as you can. Remember, no pain, no moving of shoulders, and then bringing it all the way back on the inhale and off to the other side. So it's inhale move, exhale move. And that's how slow everything is. So whilst you're working quite hard here, you're turning your face as far as you can without any pain, you're not hurting yourself. But you're taking 4 beats to get there, 4 beats to get back. You keep going. Anybody who's got a stiff neck or stiff shoulders, this is what you could be doing to help. Okay, always make sure you do a matching pair. I don't want you going home wonky. And now we're going to look up to the ceiling. And now we're going to go chin to chest. Up to the ceiling. Chin to chest. Up to the ceiling. Chin to chest. And now I want you to draw a circle with your nose. Very small circle first. And then, as long as that doesn't hurt, you can go as big as you like. Now again, remember your shoulders are still down and back. The pelvic floor is still lifted. Your belly's still contracted. Belly button to spine, abs switched on, core engaged. All those things mean the same thing. Change direction, small first. So I can hear all that creaking around the back of my neck, but it's not painful. So, and now we do the shoulders. So imagine you have, well, let's go. Shoulders as high as you can. Shoulders as low as you can. High, low, high, low. Front, as in I'm trying to fold in half here. And bring my shoulders round. And then fold in half around my spine. Forwards. Still got your core engaged, still got your pelvic floor lifted, still got your neutral spine. Now circle the shoulders. Smashing. And the other way. This is the easy bit, but this is the mobilization. It's not about gymnastics and about overstretching. It's about mobilizing the joints so they're ready for you to do your workout. Okay, now bring the whole arm in. Now we want strong arms. Switched on, strong, engaged, and draw a small circle. And as long as that doesn't hurt, you can go as big as you like. Again, I can hear it creaking. It sounds like it's really loud, but lovely, isn't it? I hope you're all okay. Gosh, it is so hard not seeing anybody. I'm just not used to it. And the other way. Brilliant. And now out to the side. Now you want everything at shoulder height. So pull and then long. Pull and long. Pull and long. See how I'm staying at shoulder height all the time. So in other words, I'm not going down here. Pull and then diagonal. This is really stretching. This is so nice if you've been sat for a long time and you've got the room and nobody's going to stare at you. It's really nice to do this one. Okay, now we're moving down to do the waist. So, small movement. I'm just drawing a circle with my hips. My hips are still facing the front the whole time. Noisy, isn't it? Okay, now, as long as that doesn't hurt, you go as big as you like. So my neck is still lengthened, my shoulders are still down and back. So if you keep going from the side, if anybody needs to see it from the side, it's like this. Change direction, small first. And then big. And then we're going to hang your hands down the side of the ball, and without leaning forward or backwards, we're just going to take the hand down the ball and down the other side. So keep going. From the side, it looks like this. Wonderful. Right, now let's go down to the feet. So, go on to tiptoe, 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 tiptoe. Both together. Just warming the feet up. Play the piano with your toes. Oh, and your fingers. Let's play the piano with your toes and your fingers. Now we're going to lift the heel, lift the toes, and balance on the heels. Okay, now we're going to circle the ankles. And the other way. Oh, hello. It's George. Big now, isn't he? And the other way. Hello. And the other way. Okay, now we're going to start on a balance. I'm going to lift one knee and lower it. Now this is easy doing this. We want to slow it right down. So it's a lift and lower. Lift and lower. Much more difficult, isn't it? Doesn't matter if you fall. I did plenty of times. Hello. Okay, to make it more difficult again, you might want to put your arms out for extra balance, but we're going to lift and take it out and bring it back and place it down. In, out, in, and down, in, out, in, down. What we're talking about is up, out, in, and down. Up, out, in. This is a bit more difficult, like this. Basically, the narrower you are, the harder it is to balance. The wider you are, the more help you get. And you choose. It's up to you completely. Okay. Now, we're just going to stretch the hamstrings and the bum by taking the ball back and straightening the legs. But I'm not bending over. I'm not bending over like this. I'm keeping my back straight. And that's just giving a gentle stretch down the back of the legs. And that's it, we're ready to start the work now. And it is work as well. Quite a toughie tonight. Anytime you want to rest, you must rest. It's up to you completely. I want you to work as hard as you want to work, but I don't want to put you off Pilates. And the intention is to burn a few calories, get your heart rate up a little bit, but you won't be going mad. It's not like a cardio class at all. Right, but the first one, this is a bit of cardio. Oh, hi. Message there. Okay, grab the ball. I'll show you from the side. This is about balance. So again, basically it's this movement. Now, if you were doing this, we did this the other week, it's really easy to balance, but the slower you do, the more difficult it is. And this is what we're doing with the ball. We're going to hold the ball up here, and then we're going to lift and bring the ball down and take it up at this sort of speed, which is what makes it difficult. Try and carry on playing the piano with your toes, squeezing the ball so you're working your arm and chest muscles. So this isn't on slow-mo, this is real. I've had to move over because I've got a beam there. Rest when you need to. Really squeeze your abs in, as in belly button to spine, tight, which is also called engaging the core. If your arms start to ache, you can ditch the ball, or you can leave the ball here. Some of you might not be used to my kind of exercise. I like to use as many muscles as one at the same time. Multitasking. Oops, see, I fell. Still with me? If you're still with me, very well done. Fantastic. How about, if you're still with me, changing it to lift, take it out, bring it in. Wow. Why not? Then we're bringing the inner and outer thighs into it as well. So now you're using your hip flexors, which are the ones that here, that bring your leg up. So we use those all day, every day, don't we? But now you're also using the lower leg of the standing leg. You're using your chest. You're using your arms. So I'm going to do 4 more, just so we don't get bored. And we've got loads of other exercises as well. So it's also coordination, isn't it? Proprioception. Brilliant. Well done. Drop the ball, circle the shoulders. So I found that hardest here of all of the muscles I have in use. So the next one is going to do a side one, the side leg. So we're just on the front, now we're going to do the side of the leg. I'm going to lean over on my ball, hand on my hip or out here for more balance. So you see how I've lightly got my toe touching the floor. I'm going to go out and in. And also, what I must point out, you need your toe facing the front. If you have your toe facing up towards the ceiling, you can go much higher, but then you're using the same muscles you've already used, your hip flexors. So we want to use these outer muscles, so you keep your foot, the flat of your outside of your foot, parallel with the ceiling. Notice how we're going nice and slow. You're putting the weight on the ball to help you. Now I'm going to pulse for 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and slow for 10. If this is hurting your hips, you can either go here or you can go down here. It's up to you. I'll stay here now here. Still got your core engaged, pelvic floor lifted. And then 10 pulses. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Brilliant. Need a rest. The rest is swirling the hips. Well done. same the other side. So I will do what I did before. No, I will do I'll do the lower one first. It's just less difficult because you've got more help with your balance. Okay, so foot facing the front, core engaged, flat, neutral spine, flat of the foot up to the ceiling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we do 10 pulses. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I'm going to do my other half standing, just so I'm not wonky. You can stay down kneeling, or you can do all of it up here. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Hello, George. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stay here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well done. Strengthen the hips. He's bored. And the other way. Now we're going to do good old crunches on the ball. Now, crunches on the ball are really good for you because if you do crunches on the floor, you've got all this time here where there's no contact, and if anybody has a weak back, you could be hurting it. But on the ball, make sure your feet aren't going to slip on with socks on a wooden floor or anything like that. So, you see how my legs are out at an angle? So they're not here, they're out at an angle. And they're hip distance apart. Start with your hands on your hips or your thighs. Roll the ball towards your feet. So now your back is in touch with the ball the whole time, so you're supporting it. And come back up. Belly button to spine the whole time. If you want to make it more difficult, you can narrow your feet a bit, but you're more likely to fall off one side or the other. But, you know, some of you are experts, I know. So, hands here, roll the ball. Now, if you go all the way down here, you're relaxing. So, you're cheating really, because you want to keep it switched on. If I do it like this, I would be here for half an hour. So, what I do instead is I don't quite come back up to sitting. I stay at an angle, which means I'm working the whole time. And then when I go down, I stop here because I'm not resting, so I'm working the whole time. So I'm going between there and there and there. Now, if it's really easy, you could put your hands here, which gives you a bit more weight at the top end, or you could use a barbell here to make this end a bit heavier. And then you don't have to do quite as many, otherwise you'll be doing them all day. But never go and use this until you've mastered without. And if you find you're having to come up and rest in between each one, and I don't mean stopping, I just mean coming up so that your chest is that side of your hips, then you're resting in between, so certainly then there's no point in using this to make it harder. Still breathing. The whole time your belly button is pinched into your spine and you are not relaxing it for a whole second. And that's what causes the work. To rest, just bend over. If you don't need to rest, keep going. anybody who's used to using the ball, the best stretch, so this is your nice rest, but for those of you used to it, don't do it without anybody helping you if you're not, is to just roll the ball forward and just stretch over it. And you get a fantastic stretch here. It's lovely. To come out of it, if you've got here, the best way sometimes is just to fall off the side, or you lift your chin to chest first, then you move the ball. Okay, but honestly sometimes it's easier just to fall off the side. Right, so that's your core done. Let's work on the back now. So we're going to do plank. Now, plank you can do on your elbows here or on your hands. I'll show you elbows first. So I've got gripping the ball like mad. My hips always stay level. In other words, I don't lift one or the other. Okay, so now slide one leg out. Now I'm taking a bit of weight on the ball. When I feel I can, slide the other leg out. Can you see the gap here between my chest and the ball? You want to keep that gap. And if you're trying to strengthen your spine, your belly button to spine, you're squeezing your bum, and you're definitely not letting your back sag. Because I know some people like to think they're doing plank, but actually they're just resting their chest on the ball. You need to be able to get up here and stay here. If that's too difficult, you can put your knees down and you're still in a plank position where you've just got the knees down to help you a bit more. Anybody who wants to go a bit further, and I know some of you do, I've fallen off this so many times. Got my hands here, look, like this, and then I take one leg out, have a think about it and a prayer, take the other leg out. Now, if anybody wants to upgrade it any more, you bring one knee in slowly, other knee slowly. Belly button to spine, squeeze your bum. My face is looking down at the ball. I'm not trying to lift my face. The ball is trying to escape. That's why it's called a stability ball, because it's trying to stabilize you. You're trying to stabilize it. When you've had enough, just kneel on the floor and hang over your ball. Try not to hunch your shoulders up round by your ears. If suddenly you think this is too difficult, go back a level. In other words, you can put your elbows on and your knees. But I'm just going to do a few more. Lovely. Lower yourself down. Well done. Have a good old hang over the ball to rest. So that's taken my heart rate up to 100, which means it's not busting a gut, not going to have a heart attack, just elevated my heart rate. Right, this next one's completely new to everybody. None of you have done this before. And it's really difficult, of course. Right. You'll probably fall off. I've fallen off so many times. I'm going to do it at an angle so you can see me. Right. I'm going to take the socks off. And then slip. Right. Better. Right, so I lie down on the ball. So the ball is now in between my elbow. Look, if I put my elbows down, it's in between. And a top tip here is if you want to grip the ball, you get a little bit of help. If it's hurting your neck, you can drop it back, or you can take the ball further down, so now my head is resting. So it's completely up to you which way you do it. I just realised I need to move that one a bit. Okay. Now then, all you've got to do, oh, let's just do the easy bit first. So we're just going to take the arms up palm to palm, Now my feet and knees are hip distance apart. My bum isn't hanging down here, it's up here. Hips to the ceiling. And just do a toy soldier with the arms. And while you're there, you're squeezing your bums, belly button to spine, squeezing your hips up to the ceiling. And you're just practicing getting your balance. That's easy, isn't it? Alright then, palm to palm. Now do some big circles with your arms. Still squeezing your bum up to the ceiling. And the other way. Still squeezing your bum. Pelvic floor lifted, neck relaxed. Okay, that is the easy bit, I've got to say. Now, top tip, squeeze the ball in between your shoulders and come up onto one toe and the other toe. Other toe, other toe. Now we're going to try and lift one leg. So, eek, lift and down, lift and down. Lift. Go as quick as you like because it's easier. Okay, now just slow it down. It's not easy, I promise. In fact, tell you what, if you want to put your hands out here just to help you, you can. I'm going to try without. No, I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to bring my knee up to tabletop and take it back down. Other knee to tabletop. One finger each on the floor, that's all I've got. Keeping the hips up. Okay. So you can carry on doing that. Bad enough, isn't it? Or knee to tabletop. Straighten the leg. Lift the hips and now leg down, leg up. Try and take your hands off the floor if you can. Or I've just got one fingernail on each hand. 4, 5, and that's me done. I'm going to do the other side. Lift knee to tabletop, straight the leg, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's me done. I'm going to sink to the floor and have a rest. It's hard, isn't it? That's completely new. Another new one. I'm actually going to get a weight because I've done this loads of times. I'm just going to have this handy here. So we're going to use the same muscle groups. So, sit on the ball. Go rolling down into the same position. And again, we want to be the hips and arms here. They're high up, so you're in a nice tabletop position. And the exercise is to drop the hips to the floor and lift. That's the exercise. Okay? Now I've got this weight here because I've done this so many times. One of my favourites. So I've got this here just to add a bit of weight. All the way down. Rest when you need to. It's your body. Only one you've got. Core engaged, pelvic floor lifted. My neck is relaxed on the ball. Oh, while you're doing this, when you're buying anything, I've been buying some bits and bobs off Marketplace, for example, and all I'll say is check your prices, because there was this lady in Shrewsbury selling 3 weighted balls. Now I've got a load of weighted balls. She was saying 3. Can't remember what weights. 1, 2 and 3 kilograms. A set of 3. And they're nicely coloured, pink, blue and green. And she was selling them for £20, second hand. They're only $15.99, brand new in August, and they've got loads of them in sale. So just watch what you're buying. Okay, I've had enough of this one, so I lower myself back down to the floor again. Back is feeling it now, so I'm going to go onto my knees and I'm going to just spin my hips round. There's one more in that series, and again I'm going to use a weight once I've shown you what to do. If you've never done it before, do not ever try with a weight first, okay? And I'm going to show you from my head end. So we're in the same position as we were, so you sit on the ball, and then you roll the ball, and then you roll the ball towards your feet, and you rest your head so your neck is resting. I've got my feet hip distance apart. Bum is up to the ceiling, palm to palm. Now the first one, I just want you to do a mini rock to the side, mini rock to the other side. Keeping the hips up. What you want to do is lower the hips. What I want you to do is keep them up, and then you're getting the most of the workout. And when you've got a handle on it, you can go a little bit more and a little bit more. Or some of you there, I know, will be doing this. Gently, gently, gently. Rest when you need to. Hips up to the ceiling, belly button to spine, pelvic floor lifted. To the last of this series, till we move on to something else. Anybody else getting nice and warm? Okay, I'm going to do 4 more. Well done. If you were still with me then, fantastic. Right, again, I'm going to go onto my knees, and I'm going to just swell my hips round. Did you see my instructional video last week? It was how to get you to watch me live on Facebook. It was quite funny because it kept going wrong. I was trying to talk you through it, so I was watching how it was videoing it on my phone whilst doing it on the computer. It was quite funny. But we got there in the end. And the other way. Right, I think the arms need a bit of work now, don't you? So, do a few things on our front. And I have seen the time. So, on our front, we're going to do good old press-ups. Now, this ball is fantastic for press-ups because it will make them easier if you have a back problem or a shoulder problem or a wrist problem. Makes the press-ups much easier. If you don't have any of those problems, you can make it so difficult on here, really can. So I will leave it completely up to you, but I don't want you to hurt yourself. And again, if you've got a saggy back at all, you're just working too hard, you're overdoing it. And so go back a level, master that level, and then try again later. And when I say later, I mean weeks later. Okay? So just have a little roll around on the ball, just to get your balance and make you realise who's in charge. Right, so if you know how to do press-ups on the ball, you can crack on. But if you don't, assuming then we're going to do the very basic press-ups on the ball. Okay, so if you look, I have this ball underneath my hips. My arms are shoulder width apart and a tiny bit more. My feet are off the floor, so in a nice straight line, and you want your feet together because then you're working your inner thighs as well. Now here, I could almost take the weight off, so I'm quite balanced between the feet end and the head end. And now I'm going to dip my nose, not the top of my head, because it's not a neck exercise, it's an arm exercise. So I'm going from straight arms, and I'm aiming to get my chin, if you like, down to the floor, and as I do that, my legs lift. So I'm a seesaw. Okay? Now that's putting minimal weight on my wrists and arms, but it is putting some weight on them, so it's strengthening them and mobilizing them. So it's working my shoulders, my upper back, my back, It's by being in a seesaw position, I'm having to use my bum. By keeping my legs together, I'm using my inner thighs. Now, I know some of you would find that quite easy. So all you have to do is move the ball further down your body. So in other words, you could have the ball then under your thighs and knees. So now you have more weight at your head end. So your wrists and arms and back are going to do more work. And remember, in Pilates, we don't bob up and down. We go slowly down on the breath and slowly up on the breath. Anytime you need to rest, go back to here, hang over the ball. If you don't need to rest, keep going. Oh, and you don't want to be letting the ball roll back so you're head diving behind your hands. Your head should stay in front of your hands. Now you want your bum tight, belly tight, legs closed tight together. So all of you paddleboarders out there joining me, remember you're now using all your shoulders and your arms again that you use on the paddleboard. Brilliant. I'm going to do a few more, but if you need to stop, please stop. And hang over the ball. Your wrists, snake your wrists like this. It's lovely. And shake them off. And have a really good rest now. Just hang over the ball. While you're here, relax your belly and then switch it on. Relax and switch it on because you can really feel if you're doing it properly. And I'm just going to grab a drink. Come on here. Alright. Okay, we're going to do some lying on our back now. We need the rest, hey? Okay. So these are all kind of like a dead bug series. So if I were to remove the ball and show you a dead bug, hang on, we'll just build up to a dead bug first. Relax. Now you want to get your neutral spine. If you arch your back and push your hand under, as far as it will go, I've got my other hand under. Now squeeze down onto that hand. Do you see how much movement you've got? We were doing this when we were on the ball, rocking forward and backwards, weren't we? You want as much movement as you can. Now make that movement smaller and smaller and smaller until again you stop in the middle. You should perhaps be able to slide a piece of paper under, but nothing else. Certainly not get any hand or anything under. And then your belly button is tight, tight, tight to your spine, and I want it to stay there the whole time. Okay, now while you're there, shoulders are down and back, neck's lengthened, feet and knees are hip distance apart. Simply brace and lift one leg to tabletop. Again, if you've got your foot flexed, this is pointy, this is flexed. If you keep your foot flexed, so now I'm getting a nice stretch in my calf muscle, and replace it to the floor. And lift the other one. And replace it. And keep that movement going. So you lift one leg and the other. Oh, and another thing. I know all about cheats. So now my knee's above my hip, or that side of my hip, far side of my hip, I'm working my core and my hip flexors and my thighs. As soon as I bring my knee this side of my hip, I'm resting. So I know that cheat, okay? by the way, I've already burnt 210 calories since 6 o'clock. So there. Without feeling like I've bust a gut. Right, now we grab the ball back. Ball back, I said. And raise the ball above your head. While you've got your core engaged, take the ball up and over to the floor and all the way back. I want you to concentrate on your spine. Is it lifting off the floor at all? If it is, ditch the ball and carry on without the ball. If your spine is nice and flat on the floor and your belly button is still to spine, then I will allow you to lift one leg to tabletop and carry on that movement. And then I want you to change legs. So take that one down and bring the other leg up. Remember keeping that knee over your hip or far side of your hip. Right, how did that feel? So most of you now, I know, will be able to, well certainly my clients that I see regularly, they can bring one leg to tabletop and then bring the other. Now straight away, if your back lifts off the floor, it's too difficult. If it's hurting at all, it's too difficult. Don't force it. So now I'm here, and I'm going to take the ball over. Remember, it's your workout. Nobody can see you. Doesn't matter what you're doing, because anything you do is better than doing nothing. They're already 100% better than those sat in the kitchen, stuffing their faces. Okay, have a rest, a minute. Arch back, lower to the floor. Alright, we're going to increase that a little bit now. One leg to tabletop. Again, you can just do one leg at a time, or you can move on to two. But otherwise, as one leg goes out, one arm goes out. And back. Again, don't cheat by bringing this knee too close to the chest. And it's the speed that we're doing it that is giving you the exercise. If you were to do this, you're not actually going to be working half as hard as this. So it's proprioception as well, isn't it? I'm smiling to myself because I know that there's certainly one girl in my class and one boy in my class who will be going, oh, I can't do this. What they can't do, they're very strong, but it's the proprioception, the coordination. Rest when you need to. Where did George go? Okay, and rest again. Alrighty-o, you've done all the hard work. We're now going to do some very, very nice stretches. Okay? First stretch, just ditch the ball and do a full body stretch because you've just worked that belly really, really hard. Remember I said about making that breath longer? Now I want you to breathe in for 4 through your nose and out for 4 through your mouth. Now make it 5. Now make it 6. 7. breathe normally and relax everything. Bring one knee up and the other knee up, and take both knees over to the side, come over onto your side, and then push against your hand to help you up. And we're going to do a nice side stretch. So, can you see my knees pointing to the front? Arms on the ball. Arm out. And then roll the ball away and take the arm over the top. And relax. Hope you feel okay. And then pull yourself out of it. And same the other side. So, my knees are facing the front, hips are facing the front, arm on the ball, roll the ball away, and stretch over. And relax. So if you've got any special requests for next week, let me know by text or reply on to Facebook. If you've got any comments on Facebook, please add them and I will respond. I've had some lovely emails. And pull back out of it. Now, one of the best stretches is child pose, but wide leg child pose. So if I show you from the front, I have my knees wide and my ankles are pleated together. And then I bring the ball in front and I'm going to do child pose, but my arms are on the ball. And the reason this is good is because it means you can drop your head and shoulders down a bit more. So you push the ball away. And if you were on the floor, you'd probably get to here, but because we're on the ball, I can now sink my head and shoulders through without dropping my neck. And breathe. When you're trying to squeeze your feet onto your bum onto your feet, legs are wide, shoulders are getting a stretch, back's getting a stretch, bum's getting a stretch, inner thighs. And rock the ball from one side to the other. Brilliant. Now roll it back up. Next thing I'm going to stretch is the back of the leg, the hamstring, because we use those quite a lot. Simple way to do this on the ball, if you can. If you can't, don't worry, do it on the floor. We did it on the floor last week like this. So I can stick my foot on the ball. At the moment I have no stretch. Now I know most of you will have a stretch here and it might be too much already. Drop your foot to the floor. But if you haven't got a stretch, pull those toes back a bit more, to your face. Now I still haven't got a stretch, and you know why? Because my back is slightly rounded, because my pelvis is tipped back. If I bring my pelvis upright, now I've got a stretch. And I don't want to overdo it. You must never have a shaky leg while you're doing any leg stretches. So, I don't have a stretch. I don't have shaky legs. I do have a stretch. Doesn't hurt. It's mild tension only. And when your brain realises you're not going to hurt yourself, it will relax the muscles. So it's just done that for me. So now I can go a little bit more, but not much. So you should be able to feel a stretch all the way from here into the bum, which is where your hamstring joins on. It joins on right at the very bottom of your hip bone, your pelvis. And to come out of this, I relax my arms, let my pelvis slip back, relax my feet, and that's switched off as the stretch. Same on the other side. Put the foot in the ball, no stretch. Put my toes back, no stretch. Tip my pelvis where it should be, Nice stretch. I do appreciate you all coming, and I do know when you're here, when you make comments, and I know you've been here, it does give me that nice warm fuzzy feeling. So thank you. And I hope, just even if this is the only exercise you do in the week, but remember, it will stay on Facebook, and I will eventually put it onto my YouTube channel, so it's there all the time. So if ever you have some time, you don't have to do the whole thing. You can just do the mobilization, do, I don't know, 20 minutes, and then do the stretches. Make it up as you go along, and switch it up. The last one, we're just going to stretch the bum, but I'm going to do without the ball by lying down, relaxing, cross one leg over the other. So my ankle is across my knee. Push your knee away to open up the hips. Still relaxed, still relaxed. Now let go of the knee. Hands palm to palm. Lift your head and shoulders and lift your leg, and you grab the back of your thigh. Now I can relax down, and as I do, I'm getting a stretch, perfect stretch in the cheek of this bum, which is where I want it. Because remember when we were on our backs and we were squeezing our hips up to the ceiling on the ball, all you were using then, you were using these muscles here. They're called your glutes. There's 3 of them. They're big muscles, and you need strong glutes, because when you have strong glutes, they will do all the lifting work for you instead of your back. And that's how it should be. Your back is surrounded by lots and lots of muscles, but they're much smaller. And you don't want those muscles doing the work when your glutes are perfectly able, and they are much bigger muscles, and your thigh muscles. And that you need to be using the big muscles for any lifting or bending or straightening, and save the back muscles. And relax that down. Same on the other side. Cross the leg over, push the knee away. And then lift your head and shoulders, bring the knee through, relax down, and I'm pushing against my inner thigh with my elbow, stretching off that bum. Breathe and breathe, and relax it down. So, we're actually done now. We need to come up to standing. So go onto your side and push yourself up to standing. Try and come up to standing using as few limbs as possible. So I'm going to come up like this without pushing if I can, but if you need to push on your leg, don't worry about it. And I'm told we have to do this every time. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale onto your toes. Walk around. And exhale. Well done. Fantastic. So, those of you who are new to my class, and I do believe I have some paddleboarders with me, this is what you should be doing as often as you can, because this is just like being on your board on the water, isn't it? So, I'll see you next week. I look forward to your suggestions. If you've got any injuries, give me a buzz, and we can do some exercises to work around those. And I'll see you next week. Bye! And this is the awful bit because I can't switch both off at once.